Good night, guys. Good night. Good night. We are going live with two innovative female entrepreneurs who use their brands to inspire, motivate, and transform lives. Welcome to Creative Monday. I am your host, Mervin Budram, and we are creators transforming lives. Good evening again. Good evening again. I want to welcome you to this edition of Creative Monday Discussion. It's great to be back. We took a little break just to regroup, to figure out what the next stretch would be for us as a show. And we're excited to join you guys once again tonight. I'm really excited to have some amazing entrepreneurs that we will bring on shortly and just introduce them. But before we do that, I just want to take a moment just to thank our sponsors for just their partnership with us, partnership with the show to help Creative Monday Discussion happen. And even before that, I want to say, guys, for those who are tuned in on TNC channel, we are live on TNC, so it's awesome. I want to say greetings to those who are watching on television on TNC. We're also on our YouTube channel. If you're on YouTube, you can go to YouTube / Mervin Budram, or you can also go to our website, mervinbudram.com, look for Creative Monday Discussion, and we are there. So as you guys can see, a lot has been happening over this stretch, and a lot of new things have been transpiring for the show. But we want to thank our sponsors, Task Belize, Formosa Cafe Belize, Coaching with Melanie, The Art Shock, ID7 Apparel, TNC, and Budram Solutions. Without these guys, without these businesses partnering with us, we would not have make the show a reality. So without any further ado, we want to bring on our first guest for the evening. She's an entrepreneur from right here in Belize. I'm excited to share her story and to interview her and get to know her a little bit. But before I bring her on, let me show you a quick little video of some of her work and what she's doing. All right, good evening. Good evening. We are joined by the none other than Miss Jolie Pollard. Good evening, Jolie. How are you doing this evening?
Hi, I'm good. I had a little trouble just now with my headphones, but
I know.
I can hear you, so we'll give it a shot.
There you go. I know how that go. We are in a technological age, and for those who don't realize it, we are like in way different location, and we are connected by internet and technology, right? So sometimes technologies have its glitch. But Jolene, welcome to Creative Monday Discussion. It's a pleasure to have you with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Mervin.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
All right. Hey, everybody. I am the founder and the formulator of Ikooma. This is a natural hair care product brand using hand-harvested and sustainably farmed seaweed that is produced by the Placentia seaweed farmers. And so I started the company 1 year ago.
Wow, amazing. And so I'm pulling up some clips here right now for you guys to see. But Jolie, as you said, you started this company 1 year ago. What were some of the things you had to deal with getting this company off the ground?
Wow, getting it off the ground, actually, it was really just a moment of inspiration for me. It wasn't something that I thought about too much. It was actually in a rather impulsive moment that I decided that I was going to do this. It was just something fun. I had been playing around with different ingredients for the past 5 years, making products for my hair, products for my skin. And it was just in one night when I decided, you know what, I should order some bottles and jars and and sell this.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
started
that's
off
awesome.
with just a small order, and I've just been learning as I go.
And I know we were talking a little bit Saturday, and you mentioned that one of the turning moment for you was just your health, and really wanted to really give more attention to that. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so in 2015, I quit my job as the executive director of the Placencia chapter of the BTIA. When I was doing that job, I was responsible for organizing the four major events for Placencia. I was putting the newspaper together, managing an office, and I was really struggling with that. I was very stressed out, and I didn't know at the time that I had attention deficit disorder, which I thought, if you had asked told me about it back then, I would have thought that was just something that was a misdiagnosis for children, and
Yeah.
I had no idea, and so eventually later on, when I got diagnosed, it all made sense to me. But at that time, I didn't know. I quit my job, and my mom has a little restaurant in Placencia, and she told me that I can wait tables there. So I was waiting tables in the evenings, serving during dinner time in Placencia. And I would try once in a while to do like some freelance writing, and but I was struggling with that
Yeah.
and deadlines, and I was a mess, to be completely honest. And so I got in a really bad place. I before that point, I was trying to eat healthy and go swimming. Swimming was a big thing for me in Placencia, like a form of meditation and fitness for me.
Yeah.
Was eating seaweed. I was very curious about the nutrition behind seaweed, even though seaweed was something that I was consuming my whole life, as my granddad started making seaweed milkshakes in Placencia back in the 80s. That was very popular for that. So that was a thing for us. Seaweed was very familiar to us, but I was looking at it in a different way and looking at all the nutrition and incorporating it into my diet. I also had a roommate who was doing some research with seaweed, who was living with me, and so it was just a part of our life. And we knew what it was good for, knew it was good for the skin, especially internally, what it does for your hair and your skin, your body. And so yeah, this is a whole this whole thing came about through experimenting, trying to improve life in general,
Yeah.
trying to just overcome an obstacle, a tough time.
Yeah, and you mentioned that your family. I have this picture up. Tell us a little bit about this. You mentioned your family was
Yes.
involved with seaweed.
Yes. So my grandparents, Julia and Cleveland Berry, for those of you tuning in from Belize, the older generation, you might be familiar with the Hurricane Hattie song and
Mm.
Good Morning, Miss Lady. That was my
Mhm.
granddad, Cleveland
Oh
Berry. He was
wow,
a popular calypsonian in the 1950s.
awesome.
And he was originally from Belize City, and he and my grandmother is from PG, and they met in Belize City, and they moved to Placencia in the late 70s, and started their restaurant there in 1982. And at the time, seaweed was a drink that people would normally, they would just make they still do it today, where it's just in the bottles and it's like shaken with the milk, you know. And he and my granny made it into a milkshake in a blender with ice and into a creamy milkshake, which is actually they were a pioneer of that, and now everyone does it in Placencia.
Yeah.
And so he called it the seaweed punch because he would spike it with brandy. And
Yeah.
so anyway, so that picture that you saw was my aunt in their kitchen making the shake, and my granddad drying seaweed. Yeah, on
So
the beach.
what's the nutritious, like the health with seaweed? I know a lot of people use it now.
Yeah,
Every opportunity I get, I pick up a seaweed drink. My father-in-law always would call me, "Hey, I'm making seaweed this weekend. Do you want some?" Tell us a little bit. What's the health behind seaweed? Why is that so
okay.
important, and how does
So
it
what
affect
it's
your body?
known for mostly in Belize is for actually it's incorrect. There's a legend in Belize that it's an aphrodisiac. So you hear the whole thing is good for stamina and good for your back. That
Yeah.
actually comes from the fact that seaweed is actually very good for sperm health. It
Okay.
contains a lot of minerals. So there are a lot of really good minerals in there. There's magnesium, there's selenium, there's zinc, there's all these different minerals in there that have been shown to be really good for sperm health. But these minerals, along with different fatty acids and protein, are also good for our skin and our hair.
Mhm.
So that's where it comes in with my product.
Awesome. Awesome. So tell us, then I don't want to mess up the name of your business. So how do you pronounce it? And then tell
Okay.
us what's the story behind the name. How did you come up with that name?
Oh, this is such a fun story. So the name is Ikooma.
Ikuma.
Um,
Okay.
so
I,
my
I was
friend
gonna
and
mess it up. I was gonna say Ikuma. So I'm glad you.
a lot of people, I have a friend who's been telling me I might need to change something about that because she thinks a lot of people are going to mispronounce it, but I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Um, it's Ikooma, and what it is actually just the Creole pronunciation of the scientific name of the species that is farmed by the Placentia seaweed farmers, called Ikooma isiforme. So Ikooma
Okay.
is spelled Eucheuma, and at the
Okay.
time when I was brainstorming names, I was like, mermaid this and like all these marine that, like I have all these different names on a sheet of paper. It was one night, one evening, and then I just said, I was looking at the scientific name Ikooma, and I was like Ikooma, Ikooma, and then I kept saying in Creole Ikooma, and I was like, that's it in Creole. Spell it in Creole how I sound,
Yeah.
phonetically, Ikooma, and I was thinking Ikooma Naturals, and one of my friends was there with me, and I was like, no, just drop natural, just say Ikooma. That
Yeah.
sounds solid, and I was like, all right, done, Ikooma, and
I
that was
love
it.
it. I love the name, and it sticks. It's a name that sticks. It's a name that makes you kind of okay. What is the story behind that? So awesome. Well, good job on that. And I love how names for companies are formed. Like it's just really awesome. So what I wanted to ask you, tell us a little bit about the products. We're gonna pull up some of the pictures uh,
Okay.
here, and then tell us a little bit of what we're seeing and
Mhm.
how your product can help. Mostly women, and I could say men as well, because
Yeah.
one of the stories, I was in Placentia, and one of the working on, I had to go there and then go to Danrega to do a video shoot, and the videographer, Everest, I'll give a shout out to him. He like, you're going to Placentia, please make sure you pick up one of the products from Jolie for me, and I'm like, special delivery all the way from Placentia, and he used it a lot. So that sparked my interest on your product, right? Sadly, I can't do anything in my hair, but I have girls, so this is gonna be good for us to bring for our family, for our girls. But tell us a little bit about your product, what they do, how people can find it.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. So I have curly hair. I'm 34 years old. Unlike today, goodness, I went into Brody's yesterday and saw the amount of natural hair care products on the shelf. I could not believe it. I was so
yeah,
shocked because in Placentia we have very few options. That's part of why it started. And I saw that yesterday. I said, "My God!" Because when I was a little girl, there was nothing for me on the shelf.
yeah,
The ads that were communicated to us growing up was that you had straight hair, light wavy hair,
yeah,
or you had African ancestry, you had kinky coily curly hair, but you wanted it straight and you needed a relaxer. There was like,
yeah.
you either relax your hair or you don't have afro hair and you need another product. And so
Can you tell
um,
I know so much about that?
so and I would just remember what would happen with me was that I would be buying products for both different hair types that would be marketed to these different brackets, and they wouldn't work for me. So and a lot of these products that were in Belize at the time were full of chemicals, and so nobody was even thinking natural and organic back then. It was just like try different things. But what would happen is your hair would look nice for a little while, give it an hour or two, and the humidity, because you're living in a very humid
Yeah,
climate, hair would start to puff up, my little curled definition would expand. I didn't even know what my hair could look like, honestly.
yeah,
I just thought I had really dry, brittle hair that and it was just always like damaged looking, and it was one of those things that like my mom would always be like, well, what can we do? You know what, maybe we should straighten it. When I was 13, she took me to her hairstylist, and I got it relaxed at 13. And in high school, at 14, my hair was just growing out, and there was some of it was relaxed, some of it was natural. and it looked hard. I never like my hair was not messed, but I used to be very athletic. I used to play football and stuff, so I
Yeah.
sweat. I have no interest in relaxing it again or learning how to roll it or flat iron it. Like that was just not my thing because I played sports. And so it wasn't until I was in college, I went to I got a scholarship through St. John's Junior College to go study journalism in the States. And it was when I was in the States that I remember finding out about I think I went on Google and I searched for a product for mixed girls. Like I'm in the middle. What is there for me? And I found a product called Mixed Chick. And it
Okay.
said a mixed chicks like for multi-ethnic women or women of different backgrounds. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is what I've been looking for my whole life. And so I bought it and I liked it. And it was a lot of money at that time. And then I was using that, and then I found out about Carol's Daughter, which was another natural hair product, which was just coming out too. She was new. She started in her kitchen, a Brooklyn kitchen, in an apartment, and so I found out about her. I would buy some of her stuff, and then there was a point where I was just like, I can't afford this. And then Cantu came on the scene, and that was in Walmart.
Mhm.
I was like, oh my goodness, a natural hair product I can afford, and I bought that. But what I noticed was with all these different products, I wouldn't get the results that I wanted.
Okay.
And moved back to Belize. I didn't have any money because
Yeah.
when I came back to Belize, I had a surgery right before I came back that I didn't expect to have, and I had blew everything I had on this surgery. I came home with nothing, and so it was at the time it just I'd never the thought to order online just never occurred to me. Like
Yeah.
I bought what I could find in the village, and I think this is what how this product came about because if
Amazing.
I were living in Belize City or if I had the option to buy online, I would have probably never decided to make this stuff. I was just simple sense and I was like, I can't find anything that worked for me. And I just started looking things up online, like what's good for your hair. First it started
It's
with
amazing.
coconut oil, putting coconut oil in my hair, putting other things, and then it there was no I had no benchmark. I had no example to work from. There could have I could have gone and done some research online and find things, but I just preferred to be spontaneous in the kitchen, and
Yeah.
so I was always just like mixing different things. I didn't even write things down. At one point, like I think I said in that Channel 7 news report that I had started working with seaweed at one time, and then when I watched the news, I was like, what did I say that? I started working with it way before that, but it's just that
Yeah.
I just never tracked things down. And so anyway, that the whole experiment was like, how can I get all these natural ingredients to give me the results that I have been wanting all along? And none of these other hair products I tried to give me. I was like, I want my hair to feel light. I don't want my hair to feel greasy and oily. I want to hold definition. I want it to be shiny, and most importantly, I want it to be healthy. And I don't want to be putting harmful chemicals into my
Awesome.
body, which would be just a part of my whole holistic approach. Just going along with the food I'm eating and my exercise and all that. And that is how Ikooma came about.
So that what I'm hearing in that as well, that's what we can expect from your product. We can expect
Yes,
shiny hair, we can expect light, we can expect healthy hair from
yes,
your product. So tell us a little bit these pictures that we're watching. We're gonna go
yeah.
through them, and then you could just give us a caption of what's happening here.
Okay, so the first picture, I like that one because it's three girls who are connected to the seaweed industry. The
Awesome.
first girl, the girl to the shorter one, she has been doing a lot of work with two Taiwanese investors who are now using the placenta seaweed to make skincare products. They have a company called
Amazing.
Ikooma. She's been working with them, so she's very familiar with the seaweed operations and seaweed farming. And
Amazing.
the next girl beside me in the pink was my roommate, who is she's a half Egyptian, half Dutch girl who came here to do some research with seaweed. And she was with me when we first put the seaweed gel in our hair. We had just boiled some seaweed and put in our hair, and we were so shocked at how good our hair looked. And it was that moment right there that we were like, we could do stuff with seaweed in
Awesome.
our hair. So she's been very close along on the journey. And
These look like happy
these are
clients.
customers.
Yeah,
So
they
you'll
look
notice
very
they have
happy.
different textures than I do.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that I didn't know when I started Ikuma. I was just making this for my hair. And then people with different hair types started using it and telling me how much they liked it. And I was like, wait a second. this is for everybody.
Yeah.
So it was cool. It was really neat to see how in hair we have like different types. We start from type 1 to type 4. Type 1 being like the thinner, lighter texture. Type 4 being your thickest textures. I'm in the middle, like type 3. But I
Okay.
have people from both sides telling me how much they like it, which is now that I'm finding out it's not just a curly girl product at all. I have so many Maya women who love it. Like in Placencia, I've gotten a chance to meet a lot more Maya people than I did growing up in Belize City.
Awesome.
Some girls from the villages nearby love the product, and I'm just like, okay, this is not for curly hair. This is for we need to rethink branding and marketing now because you guys love it too. So it's been great.
Well, I did have one question. We were talking Saturday, and
Yeah.
you were sharing with us the amount of trial and error before you kind of found the product. So tell me, how many errors did you have before you hit a success?
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay, so let's say I started messing around with this stuff in 2015, right?
Mhm.
2017 was when I really got close to something good that I had them in jars and I took them with me on a traveling trip. My face was breaking out like crazy because the face cream that I had made had gone bad and I didn't realize what I had done, and I realized that I had really messed that one up. And the hair products that I had were doing great, but they weren't performing to optimal standard. And even though someone I met on my trip told me how much they loved it, at the time I was using Cahoon oil. I was trying to make it as local as possible. I didn't really know much about the chemistry behind hair care formulation. It was just like a fluke that I had come up with this thing in the kitchen. So starting January last year was when I decided I really wanted to kind of get down into more the science behind what was happening, and I started looking away from all the DIY sites. There are a lot of DIY sites, blogs where people say, "Oh, you put a cup of this, and you put a cup of that," and then I realized I need to talk to chemists. I need to look at
Yeah.
real science of what's happening, and that's when I started realizing I needed to be a little more serious and disciplined and write things down. And I
Very good.
studied the sciences in high school, so I kind of took the same approach where I had like my little lab notes, and I would write what happened and really study like how it worked and what needed to improve. And it's just been, I call it a dance of like making all these natural ingredients
Well,
be
Jolie,
harmonious and work with each other. So
yeah,
it took many, many nights, many sleepless nights, because I was kind of obsessed with it. So there were nights that I would
yeah.
just be up all night working on it and I wouldn't even go to sleep.
Yeah. Well,
So
I wanted
yeah.
I wanted to applaud you because I mean it, first of all, a lot of people quit and give up when it gets hard. And I just wanted to
Yeah.
applaud you and just your diligence to press it through. And that's how we have light. That's how we can fly. That's what entrepreneurs do. They work the problem until they find a solution. So I just want to applaud you as a young female entrepreneur making a difference through her brand and product, right? And so thank you for sharing with us. We're not done with Jolie. We have more that we're going to get from her. I know there's so much to grab, and this time is so
Thank
short.
you.
But we do have another guest we also want to bring on. And so what we're going to do, we're going to pull Jolie off for right now, and we're going to bring her back on a little bit later. But we're getting ready to bring in our next guest for the evening. She's all the way from St. Maarten. She is a young entrepreneur making a huge impact with her product, with her brand. And so, without any further ado, I want to take this moment to introduce to you guys Miss Ahsika. And again, I want to just start off by just sharing a quick little video from some of the products that she's doing. Good evening. Welcome, Ahsika. Welcome to Creative Monday Discussion. It's a pleasure to have you with us this evening. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here. How are you?
I am fine. I'm excited to have you here all the way from St. Martin. Tell us, what time is it over there right now?
Yes, it's 9:25 p.m.
There you go. So this an entrepreneur, passionate. They push into the hours of the
Yes,
night, right? So
yes,
Ahsika,
yes,
tell us a
yes.
little bit. Tell us a little, and our audience, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and also I want to say to our audience, welcome. Thank you guys for tuning in, and use our comment section if you want to share something, you want to ask a question. We have our comment section that you can do that. So please do that. But Ahsika, it's over to you. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, what you're about.
Okay, hi, good night, everyone. My name is Ahsika. As Mervin said, I'm from St. Martin, a small Caribbean island. I'm 31 years old and I'm the founder and CEO of Curls a la Mode. I'm also a self-published author.
Awesome. Asika, you tell us a little bit about your business. Tell us what does your business do? What's your model and what's the vision behind and the purpose behind your business?
Okay. So Curls a la Mode, it's a fashion and lifestyle brand. I always tell everyone I started this business as a solution to a personal problem. I was looking for a community of support where it allowed me to be my true self, so to be authentic, a community where I received support and also just to express myself. And again, fashion is something I've always been interested in. It was one of the major pillars to me building my confidence and individuality as a person. So I just wanted to find a way to combine everything. Our vision for Curls a la Mode is to be a body positive fashion brand with global appeal. And our mission is to inspire self acceptance, positive self acceptance in women. And we're hoping to push that movement, a virtual movement. We're hoping to push that message with our new movement called Confident Me. So that's
Awesome.
pretty much what we're doing at Curls a la Mode.
Awesome. Your brand is all about confidence in women and how they
Yes,
view themselves and others. How
yes.
do you make the connection between how we dress and the way we feel about ourselves?
Well, I believe in the saying, when you look good, when you look good, you feel good. So I think it's all, mental. It's how you view yourself. It's the relationship you have with yourself. That's self-love. I can talk from experience when I say I struggled, especially in my teens. I felt like a misfit. I had body insecurities, low self-esteem, and it was really hard for me to connect with other people. And I can remember different parts in my life in high school, joining our local model section in our Black History Month show. That was really a turning point where I used fashion to really step into my confidence. And then also studying in the Netherlands European style, that was also another great opportunity for me to develop my confidence. So when it came time for me to create this business, it was so important that it's not just about the fashion, but it's about the message. How does this brand make you feel? And I'm hoping that it inspires other women to accept themselves and to just fully love themselves.
It's important our perception of ourselves, how we perceive ourselves
Yes,
and how we view ourselves really affect a lot of areas, not and it actually affects our the business side of our
yes,
lives as well, because our
yes,
confidence in business comes from our confidence in ourselves. Our ability to step forward and
yep,
making a difference through our business comes
yep,
from how we perceive
yep.
and feel about ourselves, right? And so I'm really excited. It's interesting how we connected. uh,
Yes.
it's interesting how we connected and our visions align in this time, right? So,
Yes.
tell us a little bit about how COVID has affected your brand, because you are a product. You're moving a product,
Physical, yes.
physical product, right? So
Yes.
how has COVID affected that for you?
Surprisingly, Mervin, COVID was wonderful for me as a small business
Yeah,
owner. I think the lockdown just united the whole world virtually. And
yeah,
so there were a lot more business opportunities that came up for me this year. These opportunities allow me to get more exposure and brand awareness. And then in turn, I got more international sales. But I would say my biggest concern was the shipping process. And that's
Yeah.
actually how I ended up pivoting into my first digital product, which is my ebook. And so I would say COVID didn't have a negative effect. It was all pretty positive. But again,
Yeah.
that's the mindset that I chose to
Yeah.
have. I just had to be ready to make that move.
Yeah, and guys, if you're interested, Ahsika has an ebook, Unlocking Your Full Potential in Life and Business, and it's available on her website. It's also available on Amazon, I believe.
Yes,
Ahsika,
on Amazon Kindle. Yes.
Kindle, it's available, and I'm this inspired me, and my wife and I, after we spoke Saturday with you, my wife and I, we were talking, and we said, "Whoa, COVID, Ahsika was able to crank out a book," and so we were like, "Oh man, we need to crank up our pace and step up our pace, right?" But I do want to applaud you on that. I know a lot of
Thank
business
you.
are trying to figure what to do, and you said
Yes.
something to us Saturday that was key. You said you looked at your vision and your mission, and you
Yes.
made an adjust. You pivoted, but keep in line with your vision and your mission.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how important having a strong vision and a mission for your company and what you do. How important is that?
Well, in 2018, August 2018, that's when I came up with this ridiculous idea for Curls a la Mode. It just kind of came to me in 2 weeks, I would say. It was really a burst of inspiration. And one thing I told myself from the beginning, I wanted to create something that had a strong meaning. I love fashion. That's my personal passion. But I also wanted to create a brand that could inspire future generations. So I look at Curls a la Mode as a tree. Curls a la Mode is a trunk and the roots. And then there are different branches. I'm always looking for a new branch to see, well, how can I expand our brand story? So the ebook is one branch, and that's really focusing on the lifestyle voice of the brand. Our email newsletter, the Fashion Club, that's another branch. I love how she wears her confidence. That's our influencer collaboration. That's another branch. Confident Me, which is our virtual movement. That's going to be a podcast launching probably early next year. And I'm missing one. Oh, the Fashion and Confidence blog. That's also another branch. So they're all very different. I'm trying to meet my audience, where I think that they're more active.
Yeah.
We all have our different habits when it comes to, which app we prefer to use. So I'm always looking for new channels, digital channels, that can allow me to increase my brand awareness. But everything has to come back to our core values and our brand mission.
Very
Our
good.
core values is authenticity, inclusivity, self-love, and confidence. So every single project from Curls a la Mode, it represents authenticity, inclusivity, self-love, and confidence.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I am excited for what you're doing, and I'm really
Thank
looking
you.
forward to what your brand and what you're gonna bring to the table. We have some of your products here that we want to kind of go through, and
Okay.
so let's pull this up right now.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your products and yeah.
Okay. So the belt bag, that's the first product that we started with. We actually started with a belt bag in black, and I actually named this belt bag after my older sister. I'm trying to, how do I explain that? Curls a la Mode, it's a passion project for me. And I'm really trying to incorporate many different elements, such as people and just different situations that not only supported me, but helped to develop my confidence. So I just
Yeah.
wanted to honor my sister. I look up to my big sister. So I wanted to honor her by naming my first product after her. And then our t-shirt in the right, the white t-shirt, it says, wear your confidence. And that's actually our brand motto. Again, I'm constantly trying to, you know, repeat that message of being confident, embrace that
Yeah.
confidence, wear that confidence. So it's a play on fashion, wear your confidence.
Yeah.
And then we also have our black t-shirt with our brand logo, our brand name, Curls a la Mode. And that's the three products that we have right now from our first collection, the signature collection. This collection, it's more luxury streetwear. I'm actually wearing a
Oh,
future product.
we can
A
zoom in.
future
This
product.
this is this is where we need those camera that can zoom, right?
I know. It's just my the brand name
Very
again,
nice.
Pearls
Very
Mode.
nice.
So everything, I'm a very creative person,
And
Mervin.
you're a very
So
branded person as well.
yes, I'm a Virgo, so I'm
Yeah,
very organized,
very
very
nice.
strategic, and sometimes I drive myself crazy because everything has to line up.
I totally get
But
what that is. You're an
there's
entrepreneur and
yes,
you're also a business owner, and so you got to have that management. A question
yes,
came in, and I want to pose
sure.
it to you. Someone was asking, can you ask her about her person? So let me get this right. Personal bullying. How do you bullying and
Ah,
confidence? How does bullying affects confidence? Or what do you do? Or what do you say to someone who's getting bullied,
yes,
especially about their weight or about their how they look
yes,
or how they dress? You know,
yes.
we're in such a culture that is so
Hmm. Hmm.
outwardly, we look at what's going on outwardly, we
Yes,
judge people based on
yes,
that.
yes.
So what would you
And
say?
I think it's a lot more difficult because of social media today.
Yeah,
It's a lot easier to be a bully.
yeah,
I've had my fair share of bullying, you know, from my teens. In high school, I was bullied based on my physical appearance. So
yeah,
that's where my low self-esteem actually came from and my body insecurities.
yeah.
But I would just say, you know, I'm 31 years old now. I've gone through the journey. I've done a lot of healing, and my advice would be, you know, just focus on yourself. Focus on how you view yourself. If you are perfectly fine with the way you are, you love yourself, you know you're strong, you know you're confident, you know you're kind, you know you're intelligent, you know, just focus on the positive aspects of yourself. And once you really embrace that love, it radiates, and you're going to attract people who
It's good.
actually want to be, you know, in your space. So just
It's
focus
good.
on the positive.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and I just want to say to those who are streaming in, both female entrepreneurs. What I love about what you're doing, one, you're young, and you've made a curve where I'm no longer gonna let the external dictate to
Yes.
me what
Yes.
will happen, but we will grab a hold of a vision, we will grab a hold of a purpose, and then we will affect change in our world
Yes.
through that, right? And so,
Mhm.
I just want to ask Ahsika as well, what's the future for you? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? I used
In
to
the
ask my friends
next five
yeah,
years.
I used to ask my friends that question and they would freak out at me, right? So,
Oh no, I'm ready.
where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, Curls a la Mode is gonna blow up in the region, in the Latin American, Caribbean region. We're gonna blow up. I plan on working with a lot more fashion
Good.
influencers in the region. I plan on working with other entrepreneurs such as Jolie to network and collaborate on different, you know, women empowerment events, because that's another passion of mine. So I would love to collaborate with other women there. I'm hoping to have my products in different boutiques throughout the region, and of course, to have that international appeal.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Joe.
Yes.
I was at Jolie because I'm Jolie's in the back. Jolie's in the backstage waving, right? So, but thanks, Ahsika, for being
Thank
on.
you,
Actually, guys,
Mervin.
what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a quick break to thank our sponsors, and then we're gonna have Jolie back as well as Ahsika for our last few minutes segment with them, right? So, thank you again, Ahsika, just for
Thank
sharing your
you.
journey and sharing your heart with us.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right, we're back, and we actually just lost Jolie, but I guess she will be back with us shortly. But in this section, what we want to do, we want to dive into some business related questions. You know, we were
Okay.
talking just about your different companies, how it was birthed, the journey, the vision, the passion. But what we want to dive into is just some tips, some business tips, and some advice. So, as an entrepreneur, getting your business off the ground, what was the first marketing or what was the first thing you did marketing wise to get your product out there and let people become aware of it, right?
Okay. Well, I started with the Facebook and the Instagram page, and I just really I use social media because, as I explained to you
Yeah.
on Saturday, I started my business with $0.
Yeah.
I took a huge risk. I wasn't ready to pivot into being an entrepreneur solely on my own, but I just felt like it was the time I had to move. So I had to get very creative. So that's my number one tip. Do your research. And you can find so much free information on YouTube, on Pinterest, on Google. So I just started teaching myself, well, okay, how do I market this business on social media? I have an online business, and it's now picking up, how do you say, it's becoming more popular to have online
Yeah.
businesses in St.
Well,
Maarten.
especially in this time,
Ex-
a lot of
Exactly.
people, we can't do a lot of the physical shopping or
Yes.
moving around the way that
Yes.
we want. So
And
everyone's kind
it's
of trying
more
to get their
cost
business online.
effective.
Yeah.
Yes, it's more cost effective as well. My overhead costs, having an online store as opposed to a physical store, it's just better for me, being a small business owner. So just
Yeah.
do your research and try to do as much as you can for yourself first before you try to hire, someone, and just try to
Yeah.
invest as much as you can back into the business in the beginning.
Yeah, and how would you speak into the referral? Like how your clients, do they refer you? Do you have a referral program? How does that work?
Well, I actually have a loyalty program on the website. So you get points. You can earn
Okay.
points many different ways. Referral is actually one of the ways. We have our email newsletter, but I think it's just a mixture. At this point now, I'm not certain exactly where, but I think it's a mixture. Sometimes it's from networking on social media, or sometimes it's an ad maybe that they saw on Facebook or Instagram. But I just try to be visible in many different areas. We're also on Twitter and Pinterest. We also have a YouTube page. So I'm just trying,
Yeah,
to get the
you out there.
brand. Yes, exactly. So you
What
just
what's
start slow.
yeah, what's your biggest challenge as a business owner and entrepreneur?
I have a lot of challenges. So I think my personal biggest challenge as a creative entrepreneur, I want to work on all my ideas today. And
Yeah,
so sometimes I have to pace myself. I
I
have
know
to
that's
pace
what you
myself. And yes, so I think that's my biggest challenge.
mean. Yeah,
Being a female entrepreneur, I think, it's very male dominated still. Things are
you think
changing,
so?
but it's still pretty male dominated. It's especially when you're moving up towards expanding and you're looking for
Yeah.
investors. It's very male dominated. So
Well,
I think
I'm hoping that through this platform we're bringing change to that. By
yes, because
yeah,
like Jolie mentioned, there was a need that no one was addressing, and as a
yeah,
female, she had to create that for other women. So I
yeah.
mean, of course, men as well, they like her products, but as a woman, she had to create that need. So I think sometimes men don't realize, some female entrepreneurs, we just know what's missing. We know what's missing. We know it's necessary.
Well,
Sometimes people say,
they say
sometimes people
behind every great man there's a woman, right? And I would say,
exactly.
I won't say behind, I would say alongside, because alongside,
Yes.
right? But
Can I just say, Mervyn,
sure,
I really love the power couple that you have, the dynamic you have with your wife.
we're trying.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. And she's right behind the scenes doing all the
I
behind the scenes. For
know.
those
I
who don't know,
know.
she's behind the scenes doing a lot of the technical, sending me some information here. But
Yeah.
I'll mention this because I'm not sure if I think Jolie's having some challenge getting it back on. But
Okay.
one of the things that she said this Saturday when we were just doing a pre-interview with her, um, I think she went into the wrong one, so let me just send it to her back. But yeah, one of the things she said that I really loved, she said that when she did all this investment for her product, she
Mm-hmm.
was getting ready to put it out, and then a friend told her to give it away. And I really wanted her to share a little bit more about that, but not just the power of getting people to try your product before they buy your
Oh
product.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
I
that
gave
that
a
is
lot of
that
my
is
products
that
away.
is such an amazing reality. To try your product before they buy
Oh
your
yeah.
product, because you know
Yes, yes.
how
I've
people.
also gifted some of my belt bags to women because I like to have a mixture. I'm biased sometimes, I think
Yeah,
all my products are amazing. I think everything I do is amazing. But it's a body positive fashion brand, so it was
yeah,
important that I had different body types, that test, the not just the material, but also if they felt comfortable
yeah,
with the bag. So I
yeah.
got feedback and
Yeah,
yeah.
how do you balance the here's Jolie's coming in. How do you balance the running of the business, and because even for you, I've observed you're very passionate about the social aspect and really making a
Mhm.
change. How do you balance the social aspect and the transformative aspect for the
Mhm.
community versus the business aspect?
I love both.
Yeah,
As I told you on Saturday, I do have a business background. I studied communication management in college. So I got a lot of background in marketing and branding, and those were always my favorite subjects. So that's why it was a personal challenge for me to create my own brand. And as I started teaching and stepping out of my comfort zone and really pushing the limits of my creativity, I realized that it's also a hidden passion and a talent, the business aspect. So I enjoy all of it. And like I also told you on Saturday, this year during COVID, I got a little obsessed with online training. So I did some
yeah,
courses and some classes, just so that I can have a better understanding of my role and my task as the
yeah.
creative director. So I love it all, Mervyn. I don't
That's
know.
awesome.
I love it all.
What advice would you give to young entrepreneurs who don't have the resource but they have a vision, a solution that they want to bring to the market? What advice would you give them to get it off the ground?
Well, my first advice is focus on your mindset. You have to be strong as an entrepreneur, especially in the beginning. As you said with Jolie, a lot of entrepreneurs, they don't, they give up a lot of the time. So you have to be very strong. You have to know that it's something that you're passionate about. It's something that's going to help you develop as a person. If it helps someone else, then that's a plus, but it should be a personal passion because it's going to get hard. It's going to get very, very difficult. So many people are going to doubt you along the way or maybe distract you. But if you know that it's something that's going to help you develop as a better person, I always say then just go for it.
Yeah,
My
awesome.
business started as a personal challenge. Jolie's business started
Yeah,
as a personal need. So I think you just really have to focus on why are you doing it? What is your
yeah,
why?
yeah. Very important. Very important. So, yeah, so I sorry guys that we're not getting Julie back on.
Oh, I wanted
Definitely
to
some.
talk to
I
Jolie.
know we wanted to get some more from her. But
Yeah.
thank you guys for keep tuning in. Again, if you have any questions, use our comment section to send in those questions so that we can get it up for you guys. And also, I just want to just do a thank our sponsors again for partnering us, and that's Task Belize Limited. That's also for Mosa Cafe, Coaching with Melanie, ID7, Bodram Solutions, and let me see if I'm missing anyone, TNC. And again, for those who are tuning on television, I want to thank you guys for tuning in,
Yes.
for being a part of tonight's discussion. We have with us Ahsika, she's from St. Martin, and we had earlier on Jolie from Ikooma. See, I think I got it right this time. I was wrong last time, right? Um, Ahsika, tell us a little bit about just what did you have to deal with in terms of you had your business, you have your family, and getting it moving? Like, what was the support like in terms of your family and friends in getting your business moving?
Well, like I explained, I had to name my first product after my sister
Yeah.
because I am an introvert, or I should say I was. I'm not an introvert
Yeah,
anymore.
I was about to say you don't strike me much as an introvert.
I was an introvert. I was extremely shy. And honestly, if it wasn't for my close circle of my friends and my family, that support, I would have given up.
Yeah,
I would have given up in 2018 because, like I say, it was very hard for me just because I had to start with very limited
yeah,
capital, and I had to teach myself so many different things. I had to teach myself how to develop the business and how to do graphic design and how to market on social media and
there
how
she
to
is.
build a website.
Finally, yep, you
Hi.
were right, Mervin. I had to turn off the phone and put it back on.
Mm. Technology, people, technology, technology.
I
It's
know, and it's
amazing.
live.
Yeah, but
Yes.
yeah. So sorry, Ahsika, you were saying with the family support.
Yeah, if I didn't have my close circle of family and friends supporting me from day one, I would have given up because it's extremely difficult, this journey being an
Yeah,
entrepreneur, and it's actually becoming a bit saturated today,
yeah,
so everyone is jumping at the opportunity as well to be an entrepreneur. So,
yeah,
you do have that negative side, which is the competitiveness, and I don't know,
yeah.
you can't really avoid that aspect of it. And this is why I always say focus on yourself, focus on your why, focus on your vision, focus on what you're trying to accomplish. And yeah, everything else
Yeah,
will line up and attract.
yeah, and I want to say on that, competition is not an issue. Like, competition keeps you sharp.
Yes.
Competition keeps you focused. And like for me, in my business venture, I don't pay attention so much to what my competitors are doing.
Yes.
I stay focused on my vision, my purpose, what we're called to do, and I make sure that I'm doing good work, making sure that I'm presenting good quality, um, and just good product, right? So we
Yes.
had a question that came in, but before we go to that, I wanted to Jolie to respond to this. I know we were talking Saturday, and I wanted you to dive in a little bit more on your friend that told you you did all this investment for your product, and then your friend said, "Give it away." Tell us a little bit about what that was like and what that felt like, but what that did for your product and your brand.
Yes. So I have to big up Miss Barbara Hall. She's the owner of a Belizean Nirvana hotel in Placencia. She's a Belizean who used to work on Wall Street and retired and living in Placencia now. And she's always looking out for everybody in the village, especially young people starting businesses. And I went up to her and I showed her my products. I was really nervous because she gives it straight.
Tell you as it
So
is.
anyway, but she was telling me, she's like, so I was like, yeah, so I think I'm just gonna try to sell it. And she's like, you can't sell that. Has anybody tried yours? I'm like, a few people. She's like, no, you need to give that away. And I was like, I just spent I had $300 on my credit card. That's it. I was waiting tables at my mom's. I had just enough money to cover my bills, and I had the last little bit of money on the credit card. And I just used that to buy my ingredients and containers and stuff. And I was like, damn it, I need my money back. She's like, no, you have to give that away. And I was like, all right. So I had 50 that I had prepared, and I gave away most of this just to different people in the village. And it just started I gave a few people, then somebody said, hey, I heard you're giving away that stuff, and she really likes it. I want some. Okay, I'll give you some.
Everyone
All
wanted.
of a sudden,
Yeah.
the pictures just start flood up my inbox. People post on Facebook. People so sweet and kind. They post their pictures online and tag me in it. Oh my gosh, this stuff is amazing. And that's what helped me to start getting orders. So I have to thank Miss Barbara for that advice. It was tough at first because it was really hard to
Yeah.
just feel like I wouldn't get my money back, but then eventually I did. So yeah.
Awesome. That is such I wanted you to share that story because a lot of entrepreneurs and people start their business and they jump in and they don't realize you gotta have to invest into your clients. You gotta let people sample and let people try the product before they will buy the product, right? We're almost out of time, and I want to get this question in that came in. Here's a question. I would like to know how you create a good formula to calculate how you pay yourself. Were you able to pay yourself at the start of your business?
I'll let Jolie
I want to
answer
answer. Oh, yeah, this is a really okay. I'll be honest with you guys. Okay, so I'm 1 year into this, right?
Yeah.
that.
I'm a writer. Now I'm like a hair care formulator, businesswoman. I really don't feel comfortable calling myself that right now. Like this has been such a learning process, and I'm actually in Belize City right now. If I was in Placencia, I'd be talking from the lab, and I'm here visiting a friend who's a very sharp businesswoman with an MBA. And I came to her because I said, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm telling you guys right now. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I'm broke. I'm selling product, but I'm broke.
You're an
And
entrepreneur.
I'm telling you, I don't have money. And so she has been for the past 3 days, all day today, yesterday, and the day before, she has been sitting down with me, and we have been going through all the numbers, and she just came up with a formula yesterday on how to pay myself. So
Awesome.
I have to go through it with her, but yeah, she did factor that into the spreadsheet, because she's like, you have to pay yourself, and you have to consider in the future when you do hire somebody, at least more or less how much you're gonna have to pay that person. So I feel I have a lot of weight that has been lifted off of me the past few days doing this with her, because I realized that not having an idea without the numbers, I had no idea where I was going with this. And you couldn't have asked me where I would see myself in 5 years. And I feel like today is the first time I would actually be able to answer that question.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say to the viewer that asked that question, I think you're heading in the right direction. It starts by asking the question, and what Jolie did was finding the person who can help her solve that question. Like for me, there's a lot I can go into with that, but we're almost out of time. So we probably will need to revisit. We're actually going to do an episode on finance and financial management. We're going to bring some accountants in, some folks who are really good at structuring pricing and all of that. We're going to bring them in so that they can give us some real good handles on our finances, the management side of our business, the tax side of our business, because a lot of us as entrepreneurs, we don't think about those things. We don't think about the taxes. We are passionate. We want to solve problems. We want to fix the world. So we jump in head on. Then we realize, whoa, there's all these skills that we need to learn in running our business, right? And so you guys are both a year in. I'm 10 plus years in, and there's so much lessons that I'm still learning in the process, right? And so, but I just want to thank you guys so much. We're like literally only have 2 more minutes to go. So man, this time goes so quickly, but I want to thank both of you just for coming on, for sharing your experience, sharing your journey. And I'm hearing a part 2 in this, because I know there's more that we can definitely grab and pull out from these conversations, right? I want to thank our audience as well for tuning in and just making Creative Monday discussion what it is, right? So again, tonight's our first episode for season 2. We're on TNC, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. We want to thank our sponsors. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. And again, if you want to know how you can become a sponsor, please contact me. My contact information is at the bottom. It's info@mervinbudram.com, or you can WhatsApp me at 614-8540 to find out how you can become a sponsor. Also, if you want to be a guest on the show, reach out to me and let's talk and let's see what we can do in the near future. But again, I want to thank you guys so much for being a part of Creative Monday discussion. I want to say have a great evening. God bless you. And I will see you again next week, Monday, same time, same place.